Here we have a right angled triangle. We know that because of this little box in the corner showing that the angle is 90 degrees. We're going to label these three sides A, B, and C. Now, as you can see, C is the longest side. Now, this side here is called the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always the longest. Okay, so it comes from here and here. The hypotenuse can always also be found always opposite. It's opposite the right angle. Okay, that's where you'll find it. Now, A and B, doesn't matter which ones you call it. This one could be, or this one could be A. Now, if you look at them, they are shorter than the hypotenuse. Very important to know. Now, as you can see, we have this word Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras theorem is basically what we use to find one of the three sides, providing that you know two of the sides. So what we're going to look at first is trying to find how we would work out the hypotenuse. Now, Pythagoras theorem shows that if you square A and you square B and plus them together, you will have what C equals. This looks like this: A squared plus B squared equals C squared. In saying that, you have to remember when you're looking for C squared, it could be represented as X as well. So in this case, it's still A squared plus B squared equals C squared, C being the longest. So that still is the hypotenuse. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's written as an X or whatever it has there. Okay, so for this particular question, what we're going to do is we're going to substitute A and B. Now, in the last picture we had A, B, and C up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have A squared, so it's 5 squared, plus B squared, so it's 8 squared, equals C squared, or in this case, X squared. What we're going to do is break it down a little bit. We've got 5 squared, which equals 25. We've got 8 squared, which is 64. And if you put these together, you have 89. So what we're going to do then is write square root of 89. Now the square root comes in because here it's squared, but we're actually just trying to find what C is. Okay, that's the answer, whatever C equals. So we need to go into your calculator and use that symbol right there. Okay, press that, then use your 89, and it comes out as 9.4. And that's your answer. So that means X equals 9.4. Now you'll always know that it could be right because it's going to be longer than A and B. Let's try another example. Here we have our A as 3, our B as 4, and our C we don't know. So remember our rule, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, this is very important to remember. Now we'll substitute our A's and B's. So we have 3 squared plus 4 squared equals C squared. Now do the maths. 3 squared equals basically saying 3 times 3, which equals 9. Then we're going to do 4 times 4, which equals 16. Plus them together, and you get 25. And that equals C squared there. Okay, so 25, what we need to do is C equals the square root of 25. Now we know, or you can use your calculator, something times something equals 25. In this case, it equals 5. So 5 is your C. Okay, we also can use Pythagoras theorem to find the shorter side. Now when I talk shorter side, it's B or A, not C in this case. Okay, however, we do need to reshuffle it. Because we added A and B together to make C, we need to do the opposite. So if we're, for example, looking for A, we're going to look for A squared. Okay, now always when you're looking for the short side, it's the long side. Take away the short side that you know. So it would look like this. If you're looking for B, it would look like C squared, take away A squared. Okay, So remember, it is a takeaway this time. Okay, long side, take away short side. Okay, so here's an example. We've got a squared, or a, that's what we're looking for. We know our c and we know our b. Now this could be a, doesn't really matter. Okay, we know this is hypotenuse, it's directly opposite our right angle, and it's the longest. So what we're going to do is 14 squared, take away your 8 squared. And that's going to equal your a squared, because that's what we're looking for. So when we break it down and rewrite it, and this is what I want you to do, rewrite it. We've got 14 squared equals 196. You can find that on your calculator. Take away 8 squared is 64. Work it out in your calculator. So that's going to equal a squared equals 132. So we're going to put that there. Now, oops, sorry, don't worry about that one there. So what we're going to do now is to find a squared. To get rid of this a, or that squared, we need to square root them. Okay, so we have a squared equals, and that ends up being 11.5. And there you have your answer. Okay, now some books might leave it as the answer as this. Okay, so that might be the answer in some books, but you can break it down completely to that. Okay, here's another example. Now in this case we're looking for b squared. Okay, so this is b here. We know our hypotenuse is 10, so we have 10 squared, and we know our a is 8. Okay, so we write it like this. We break it down, so we're still looking for b. We know 10 squared is 100. We know 8 squared is 64. Okay, take it away, you get 36. Okay, so what we're going to do is square root both sides. Okay, so b is now by itself. Square root of 36 is 6. So 6 is your answer. Okay, nice and simple. Okay, sometimes your questions are going to look like this. They're going to be written ones where you have to still work out what the triangle looks like. So we'll read it together and pick out what we need to know. So it says a ladder that is 5.5 meters long leans up against a vertical wall. The foot of the ladder is 1.5 meters from the wall. How far up the wall does the ladder reach? And gives it to one decimal place. So we need to find out what pick out of this question what we need. So it's 5.5, and that's the ladder, and it's 1.5 meters from the wall. So what we need to do is use those, what we know, and basically come up with a picture. So it's a ladder of 5.5 meters, so we're going to have a ladder. And that's leaning because it tells you. Now, it also tells you that it's 1.5 meters from the wall. So we're going to do 1.5. And there's the wall. Okay? The right angle sits there, so this makes that the hypotenuse. So it's a matter of just working it out. Now, looks like we need to know what A equals. So we've got B, we've got C. And if you remember, A equals C squared, take away B squared. Okay, and then we substitute it. So 5.5 squared, take away 1.5 squared equals A squared. Bring it out, so 30.25, take away 2.25. Okay, I know that because the calculator will tell you that. Okay, when it takes it away, you get 28. Okay, so A squared equals 28. We're going to square root that, and when we square root that, you get 5.3, and that's your answer. Okay, so remember the square root from there as well. You will also see pictures like this in front of it. That just means when you have a square root of 28, we know it could be negative 5.3 times negative 5.3 will still equal 28, or positive 5.3 squared. Okay. Okay. So here we have a slightly trickier one, and that's example 4. Okay. We'll start out writing what we know. We know A squared plus B squared equals C squared. We're going to substitute the A and B, but first of all we need to find out which one A and B is. Okay. We can say that's A and that's B, and obviously that's C being the hypotenuse. So fill in, well basically we need to substitute what A is and what B is and what C is. So as you can see we've got 3x, 2x and 78. The question on this one is what is x? Okay, so we need to fill in exactly what we have. So A equals 2x. okay, plus b, which is 3x. Now what I'm going to do is put brackets around this. Everything in the brackets is squared, okay, and c squared, which is 78 squared. First of all, I'm going to just expand these brackets. 2 squared equals 4, x squared equals, well, x squared. 3 squared equals 9, x squared again is x squared. And that's going to equal 78 squared off the top of the head, 6,084. Okay. As you can see, we've got two like terms, 4x squared and 9x squared. We're just going to plus them together. Okay. 4 plus 9 is 13, and we'll keep the x squared. And we'll just keep the 6,084. Okay. However, you can still see that 13 is attached to the x squared. And our goal is to get x by itself. So we're going to divide both sides by 13, like so. X is now just with the squared, and off the top of the head we've got 6,084 divided by 13, which is 468. As you can see though, we need to remove the squared. How do we do that? Well, square root. Okay, both sides. So x is now by itself. When we work out what 468, when we find out the square root of 468, we know that it's going to be 21.63. Now you'll see, keep reminding. So it says 2 decimal places, so we'll just take to those 2 and cross off the rest. Okay, the 3 means we don't round up. Okay, so x equals 21.63. Now you can work that out. If you times it by 3, you work it out, times by 2, and so forth. Nice and simple. Okay, now that you have watched this video, it is your turn to do the work. Now, as I've said in my previous lessons, we're going to work on practice, consolidate, or master. Okay, most of you should be comfortable working in the consolidated area. Okay, it's up to you, but I want you to give these ones a go. If you find it a little bit tricky, work on the practice, and if it's nice and straightforward, go to master. You'll need to show all your working out. Once you've finished the chapter, check your answers from the back of the book and fix those that are wrong. Okay, it's important to make sure you know where you're right or wrong. Okay, good luck.